But this all happened in the midst of one of the hardest times of our lives, easily. Like COVID is an unprecedented challenge. So how does that happen? How do you like seize on this dream that's kind of been latent in you for a long time during this really tumultuous period?
So that's awesome. Thank you for asking. Because this journey for me, I feel like it's one of those things that like it was undeniable. And as I've had time to reflect, COVID, a lot of people like went internal. They went into their houses. You know, you're not out and go. And that was kind of my life up until COVID happened. Like I was like always making plans with friends. It was always the next thing. It was the next show. It was the next, camping trip. It was the next, like, where are we going to go internationally this year? Like it was like the next festival, planning for Burning Man. It was always something that was happening in the future, which looking back, wasn't really allowing me to be super present. And it wasn't really allowing me to like slow down and like literally sit outside. And Kevin, my husband, and I started bird watching.
Yep. You guys know every bird now. It's really impressive.
So that ability to slow down and just notice what was actually happening around me was such an inspiration for my writing that I was writing so much. And like we did a van trip to Sedona, and I wrote kind of the call and response to Birds on a Wire on the top of like a vortex.
That's awesome.
In Sedona, because I was just allowing myself to kind of just be and experience and kind of take in like what was trying to be delivered to me at the time. So my inspiration for writing was I feel like magnified during this time because I was allowed to like slow down, which was pretty cool. In a time that like I probably wouldn't have like sat outside and literally watched the birds. And that's where an inspiration for Birds on a Wire came from. There's like these telephone wires outside of my house, and these birds would be sitting on the wire, and then they would literally fly down to like my doorstep, and I would be sitting there with them. And like, there's this black Phoebe bird, because we are bird watchers now. So if anyone knows that
flash an image of it on screen.
Phoebe, but they like this one bird, and I feel like it is the same bird, would like constantly look at me and kind of be communicating with me. It has like a really beautiful like kind of chirp song, and then it would like, fly away, and then these huge crows would come down and do the same thing, like these huge black crows. There's a mockingbird nest that was like in our back tree, and like all these things that I would have never even like maybe even like realized before, other than just like, oh, that's a beautiful bird. But it allowed me to like write this song and have this kind of experience, because I feel like birds are communicating with me on a deeper level from like a spiritual place of like, they have the ability to kind of transcend between these worlds of kind of like spirit, whatever you believe. I believe that. And kind of more physical and kind of touching in between the both. They literally fly and soar in between both worlds.
Yeah.
And so that's the inspiration for birds. And so the ability to start writing also allowed me to like really tap into that inner voice saying like, you need to do this. Because again, all the other distractions were kind of away. And so that voice kept getting louder and louder and louder. And it was like, Katie, like, just do it. Like, come on, do it already. Like, you got this. Like, it was just almost like building my own confidence up of like, okay, I'm going to do this. And as soon as I was like, okay, I want to do this, I started communicating it to my friends. Those friends so happened to be Evan, Casey, and Marbs, like two of like, I feel like the most talented people in their space, and they were actually looking for a female vocalist. And so it was kind of just one of those moments that it was like, okay, we don't know when we're going to start working together, but we are. And we were just trying to figure out the time. We got like the timing right. I went up to LA to their studio where they had been streaming from, which they've totally like reinvented what it is to be, I feel like, a musician in like this day, and like being able to stream on Twitch. And so we got in the studio, and like they listened to me sing, and they were just like, what? Like, it was, again, it felt like a hidden talent that I had been, and it literally has been, because it's been something I've kept so close to myself and like my family and maybe my friends that I grew up with that literally like heard me in assembly. But outside of that, when I got older, it wasn't something that I like led with, like, hey, I'm Katie, and I like to sing and I want to do that, more. So they invited me in, and that's kind of like where the process and journey began.
Is history. Yeah.